You're listening to Hainai by Motzie Dapul. Episode 45. Paghahanda.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm coming back tonight, don't worry. I just didn't have any signal. I'm sorry for making you worry, Lars. See you soon.
It's good
What is?
that you have someone asking after you.
Oh, we're not... Well, actually... Yeah, it is nice. Do you have someone like that?
No. Well, not for decades. But recently, I've had someone who, inexplicably, cares to ask about my comings and goings. A young man whom I saved from a corrupted focus.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Danny, right?
Where did you hear that name?
Calm down. It was on a podcast, like a radio show. People call in their scary personal experiences, and this one guy called in about a certain wandering hobo magician. The episode came out last year, but I only heard it a few weeks ago after I started looking for any stories that might be related to the elders, including a few stories about you. Rescuing people from fires, or with fires, rather. And sometimes not rescuing them at all. But yeah, Danny, he talked about you.
I see. Can't have been a pretty picture that he painted.
The opposite, actually. He really seemed to... Well, he said he sees you sometimes. Though I don't know if that's still true, since this was from last year.
Yes, well, I pass by it sometimes when I feel it safest. A quaint little cafe. During his breaks, he asks me to sit with him outside, and we share a meal. He asks after me, my well-being, even knowing what he knows, even after how poorly I treated him.
Not the way he tells it.
He's too kind to admit I was cruel. I've seen so much violent and senseless death by my own power and others that I often forget how such a thing can stay with you forever, especially the first time. I caused him so much pain. I truly cannot fathom why he still asks to see me.
I mean, clearly not.
Hmm?
You saved his life. Of course he looks kindly on you. Plus the other thing.
Other?
Let's just say we're kindred spirits, he and I. Though he's definitely skewing way older than I would. Not that I can judge.
You've lost me.
Never mind. I'm just glad you have someone asking after you, too.
Thank you.
So, what now? What do you plan to do with Richard Henry now that you have him? What'll you do if the benefactor finds this place?
He won't.
But what if he does?
Then you'll be glad to know this is not even a fraction of Toronto's secret underground that I have access to. If I must move, and Mr. Henry with me, I will.
You have all these places, but you still haven't figured out where the benefactor's power center is?
He didn't become benefactor because of his unmatched power. He didn't have that until Hyde. He became benefactor because he was clever, even in spite of his dreamy ideals. And while he does not know I live, he clearly has reason to hide his plans from other elders, especially after learning that his closest ally was his greatest threat. I'll continue to scout while you and yours have the benefactor's attention. He will surely come to you, the last woman seen with his erstwhile right hand, so you must prepare. I would aid you, but it's imperative I remain unseen until the time is right. And, well, I've seen what you're capable of. You don't need my help.
Thanks, I guess. So what? Just wait for the benefactor to come to me?
That, and I must ask you a favor. The long winter tends to get busy. More foci activating. More strange things happening across the city. The land changes, and the darkness inspires more fear for the foci to feed off of. I'd hate to delay my search any longer, and now that I have your ear, I'd like to ask you to protect the people of Toronto from these threats. Save them, if you can. Stop the foci from devouring their fear deaths. Pull them out of miasmata. Even ensure the foci don't activate at all if you find them. You seem to have a knack for tracking them down, which I'd like to learn, if at all possible.
Well, I'm good at feeling out the sense memories of objects, and the foci make me feel so sick that I used to puke around them. Have you ever felt anything like that?
Can't say I have. Our magic doesn't feel like anything to me. At least not the way you describe it. Other than, I suppose, electricity, heat, power. We can feel its presence, but not its nature. None of us have the sense you do, and none of us have ever devised a way to track foci before they activated. Doubtless, you'll do much better than I.
Is there anything else? Anything you need me to do?
Yes. The most important thing I must ask you.
Yeah?
Rest. Spend time with your loved ones. Christmas is coming soon. Make it merry while you are able, for you'll find that when the long winter arrives, you'll be bereft of any such opportunity.
You want me to have a Christmas party? At a time like this?
As of now, you need to await the benefactor's contact. While you do, why not spend every waking moment with the ones you love? Do what I have not been able to do in 90 years, for in spite of your great power, you may not have the opportunity again.
I'm tired of being made to wait. Again and again. Waiting for a chance to strike. Waiting for people to die just because of your foci and your elders.
And yet, you're not saying no. Because you know what harm may come of thinking you know better.
If I didn't know you were a father before, that line would have solidified it. All right. I'll wait. But how will I know you're safe? What if you've been compromised and I don't know about it? What if I don't hear from you, or what if I need to tell you something?
Take this.
What is it?
An old trinket. A gift I once made for a dear friend. If you know so much about my history, you'll know her as well. A good woman who stood against the monster Salfard.
Marianne Weeks.
Yes. There is a key and 3 locks, each wound for a different song, though you can only play 2. This lock you will wind to play a song that I will hear, no matter how far away. It is a signal that you wish to speak to me, but use it wisely, for I must remain concealed. I will find a way to meet you, so that we may speak in secret. If you need my help, or need to deliver me important information. The second, a warning that the benefactor knows more than he lets on, and that I must take precaution. This is to tell me to stay away, not to come to you, until you give the new signal. And the last you will not play, for the music box itself will play it for you, if I need to speak to you. It will come with a way for you to find me, or for us to meet. The magic in this is minimal, nigh negligible, so it will not be felt by elders, and I am able to conceal it the way I have concealed myself for decades. The switching of songs is fully mechanical. It is only my connection to it that gives it its special properties. Even if you have an elder in your home, should that improbability come to pass, they will not know it is from me.
Okay. Thank you.
Be safe, Miss Mary.
You too, Cornelius.
Hi, Nay. We got another letter. This one was sent to me, not Donner, but it's definitely from Dooley, still. It was a lot shorter than the letter he sent before, but still. Gave a lot of valuable insight. He thanked me for handling the man, and though he didn't refer to him by name, I assume he meant Richard Henry. Laura's keeping CJ in the loop, and CJ her old friend, and so on, so Dooley would have heard it on the grapevine. That, or Donner gave him a call. They're close, so I wasn't sure why he'd address me, specifically, until I got to the end. He gave me some instructions, to go through the notes that were saved from his apartment being set on fire, see if they would help in any way, if they were salvageable. To set magical protections on all my friends, which I'd already done, but it was a good precaution. And set up regular alarms on my doors and windows, just in case, because elders tend to forget the mundane and the technological. And, he said, to ask Mikey for his name. This was the last point, the last instruction. And he explained that he sent me this letter because he didn't want to risk Donner refusing to follow through, given how antsy he's been about his full name. Don't take no for an answer, it said. Don't abide his foolishness, which he's very good at pretending he's not prone to. Ask for his name, it said. It's important. And at the end of that, there was a message from Jay. All it said was, 1. and then had an arrow pointing to the number 2. This hint was more opaque than the last, but I've got 2 detectives on speed dial. Surely that's enough to solve this riddle, right? Right? I feel really sorry for Murphy. I feel more sorry for Ashvin. I want to make that clear. Murphy made his decision, and Ashvin's going along with it for his sake, but he kind of got the short end of the stick. And if me and Murphy didn't have that heart-to-heart after they all came back from the Clifford Bolden fiasco, I'd be giving him the silent treatment. Guess we used to call that girl code, but no, it's just friendship rules. I know how hard it was for him to do what he did, but I also know why he did it. I kind of just wish he didn't do it right after rescuing Ashvin from the evil remnant of a twisted elder who bound books in human skin, but I get it. Emotions were running high. Last I heard, Murphy moved out of their shared apartment to the sad little basement, even if Donner offered to let him stay over like before. Oh, God, Donner. Obviously, he heard about everyone else, but nobody told him about the breakup until I was visiting him with Laura, a couple days before he was discharged. He looked so... I don't know. Not devastated, but way more affected than I expected him to look. I didn't think about it before, but with how annoyed he was with Murphy dating Ashvin, it didn't occur to me that he was rooting for them, I guess. When you were talking about Murphy's move, he said something about Ashvin being his first real relationship since he's known him, which I know from Murphy is a full 15 years. And honestly, after what Murphy told me, it makes sense. Laura's been helping with the move. Ashvin isn't exactly avoiding Murphy, but he has yet to graduate from snarky insults every time he and Murphy exchange 2 words, so it's probably better to just give them time away. They still love each other. But there's real hurt there, too. I mean, if they didn't care, then there wouldn't be, right? Murphy never fights back. I mean, he's at fault, after all, so why would he? But we've been talking more, and he's less on around me. He puts the show on for everyone else, but he doesn't try anymore with me. He tried with Laura once, but she pinched him in the arm so hard he bruised, so he stopped. So we get to see how sad he is. But we also get to see how much more, how do I say it? Alive? Real? He is? I see this look on his face sometimes. This smile, almost a grimace. Like he's in pain, but he's working through it. This determination, this fire in his eyes. He's sad, but he's not hopeless. There's so much more life in him than I've ever seen before. Not that I ever noticed that it wasn't there. Not until now. I was there when he finally came to visit Donner at the hospital. It had only been a few days, but it was days longer than anyone expected, including Donner. I feel like he would have fought the nurses and doctors for early discharge if Laura and I weren't constantly assuring him that Murphy wasn't hurt. I was outside, so I didn't hear what they said to each other, but when they clasped hands like old friends and partners, Donner pulled him into a firm, tight hug and held him there long enough that his tense shoulders relaxed. 15 years. I couldn't imagine it. 15 years, and keeping such love a secret. Murphy was stronger than I could ever be. That's for damn sure. When I nudged him as he walked out the door, he jumped like he'd been lost in another world, and I brought him back down to earth. I asked him how it went, and he said, "Good," in the tone of a man who was looking down a barrel. Then he admitted, "I'm not sure yet." And together we went to get Timmy's in the food court. I thought he might need it, so I hugged him before he left. He squeezed me like a lifeline, or so I thought, and said thank you, voice shaking just a little. Murphy's seen horrors unimaginable, entirely unfazed. And I know that even now, if we were facing down another rotting thing, or a horde of zombies or another evil elder, he'd just sigh and cock his gun, go to work like it was just another Tuesday. But in this, he was fragile, a raw nerve. He's strong enough that I don't doubt he'd survive this on his own, but with me and Laura in the loop, I'm glad he has people for this. He's got Donner, and he's still got Ashvin, but he can't bear to look at either of them without feeling like he's broken or something right now, so we're here for him. All so close to Christmas, too. But then again, we're all kind of not feeling the holiday spirit or anything. Murphy's plans were Ashvin's plans, and now I don't know what's happening between those two. Heck, I don't even know what's happening between the 5 of us. 6, if we count Evelyn, and these days, how can we not? We've been meeting for briefs and debriefs on supernatural missions or whatever, but a Christmas party? I mean, I guess we did camp that one time, so maybe. It'd be nice not to spend Christmas alone this year.
You're listening to Hai Nai by Motzie Dapul.
Hey everyone, this is Motzie. Israel continues to murder hundreds of people in Palestine, and yet the U.S. Democrats refuse to center Palestinian voices, and the Biden administration continues to arm Israel, approving billions in continued weapon supply to the country that is murdering children every day. There is no kind way to say this, but the U.S. appears to be arming child murderers and appears to have no plans of stopping, even under Kamala Harris. There are no ceasefire talks, as the only ceasefire that would ever happen is if the U.S. stops arming Israel. There is no reason not to acknowledge that the U.S. is guilty of the crimes against humanity being committed by Israel in Gaza. You only need to see the many, many photos and videos of mutilated corpses of children to understand the U.S.'s role. Let us continue supporting all efforts to bring relief to Palestine. I would like to particularly highlight eSIMs for Gaza. They are running out of eSIMs, so if you are able to donate some new eSIMs, please do, as this is one of the many ways that people are able to communicate with each other in Gaza. Continue to put immense pressure on your governments, especially if you live in the US, until an arms embargo is achieved. Because as long as the US continues to arm Israel, children will continue to die. Please be safe. Ingat. Hey everyone, this is Motzie taking over the credits once again. Hainai is a podcast produced by myself, Yoi Halago, Alisa Jimenez, and Reg Helly, and licensed under Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike 4.0 International License. This episode was co-produced by Jesse Goodsell, and written and directed by myself. I also play the role of Mari Datuin. The role of Cornelius is played by Ivan Dapul. If you'd like to chat with other listeners when these episodes go live, we do a live premiere every other Sunday at 9 p.m. EST or Toronto time on our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/HainaiPod. We are trying out a new schedule, however, so please check out our socials for when we're dropping new episodes. To help support the production of Hainai, you can subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/HainaiPod. You'll get to be a part of our early access program, where we release episodes 3 days early on Thursday, at 9 p.m. EST or Toronto time. You can also get bonus video, audio, art, and many, many more. Speaking of Patreon, we'd love to give a shout out to the following patrons for all their amazing support. Jesse Goodsell, Amelia Brownstein, Anna, Astra Kim, Becca Terrier, Diana Cause, Emma Heilig, Evie Smith, Faye Fungi, Malaya Light, Matthew Upton, Megan, Melissa, Pablo Neurotic, Sooks, and Victoria Goodwin. If you can't subscribe monthly, you also have the option to buy us a milk tea on Ko-fi. That's ko-fi.com/HainaiPod, HINAYPOD. Our ad-free Hainai album, which has our official music and full episodes from Act 1 and 2, is also available in both Patreon and the Ko-fi store. Check out our website, HainaiPod.com, for more news and updates, and don't forget to follow us on our blog, HainaiPod.tumblr.com, as well as our socials on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, @HainaiPod. Hainai is available on Acast and wherever you listen to podcasts. We hope you enjoy our Act 3 episodes, and as always, thank you, we love you, and hanggang sa muli.